we'll be replacing a radiator on a 2006 Ford Mustang V6 4.0. We're gonna start with undoing these. They are size 10, I believe. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. We'll also be taking the reservoir off and the power steering reservoir. So there's two there and two here. Okay, took it out. All you do is just lift this up. And the coolant reservoir is held in by 8mm bolts. Power steering is also an 8mm. So now we're going to take this clamp, loosen it up, and pull the hose off the radiator. And then we'll have the reservoir disconnected so we could put it to the side. It's easier to kind of move it off like this and then pull the hose off. And it slides off just like this. So it's connected by another hose underneath, but we're just gonna move it to the side because the goal is to pull the radiator out. Now this one, and same idea. Loosen up the clamp, move it back a little bit, and then pull the hose off. And this should slide off fairly easily. There we go. Next up is the electrical fan connector, which is this guy right here. So this is where we put the screwdriver. In here you push down a pin and then you just kind of work your way off. There we go. Now that we got the fan connector disconnected, there's an 8mm bolt here. There will be another one on the other side. We're gonna undo this, and that should disconnect the fan from the radiator so we could pull. This part too. And you will need someone to kind of hold the fan up, because as soon as the bolt comes out, it drops. Move everything to the side. Get it disconnected and pull it out. This guy right here. So getting the fan is a challenge. So we're gonna undo the air intake and pull it off to give us a little bit more room. So after we moved the air intake out of the way, the fan came out. And this is what it looks like. And this is why we are replacing the radiator. So there are 4 8mm bolts that hold the radiator. Right there. There's one here, here, and then there's a 10mm at the bottom from each side. So there's a total of 6 bolts. The top 2 from each side, you could kind of reach them by reaching back around from here. The bottom 2, you gotta lay down and go from here. So now we are working on getting the big hose right here off the radiator. Same idea, where it's a clamp. Loosen it up, pull it a little bit back, and then wedge the hose off. Here's the new radiator. The other one took some wiggling to get out, but we got it out. So now we're going to be reassembling, dropping it down. These little hooks go into, well, easier to see that slot right there. And then reconnecting the hoses, and we should be good to go. One more thing. So here's the old radiator. That's the new one. The new one didn't come with these studs that are gonna go in here. So you want to remember to take off the old ones if your new radiator didn't come with a set. and done. Takes like 30 seconds, but you'll need a key that goes on this portion right here to take it off. It's a 532 socket, or 532s. It just goes on like this. Radiator is in, fan got attached. Pretty much just work your way backwards from taking everything apart. Don't forget to reconnect the electrical portion of the fan. And now we are putting the hoses back on. Final steps, we got 3 of us. Dad is putting the brackets back on. Me and my brother are putting the coolant reservoir back on, connecting the hoses. We are almost done. But you guys have a really good idea how to do this now. So I'm gonna say thank you, goodbye, and stick around for more videos.